we're gonna be installing a fluid damper on my 2017 STI. There's a couple reasons why you might wanna consider picking up a fluid damper over an OEM crank pulley, especially for any high horsepower Subaru application. One of which is that this thing is heavier than the OEM crank pulley. The second of which, this thing has a viscous fluid inside of the fluid dampener, which helps offer that better vibration dampening, reducing the wear on the main bearings, and overall potentially ensuring a smoother power delivery. We're gonna be utilizing Company 23 tools today during the install because it's gonna make our lives installing this thing as easy as possible and helps ensure we do it right. And stick around to the end of the video to catch a bonus mini quick little install we're gonna be doing somewhere in the engine bay. I'm actually very curious because I've never installed this part on any of my Subarus, and it's supposed to be a complete game changer. We'll get this battery out of the way. We're gonna remove the negative terminal, then the positive terminal. So this requires some type of configuration of ratchet and socket, whatever your guys' size nuts and bolts are. Everyone's configuration is gonna be a little bit different than mine. Also, I did get a new battery because my battery is now, or was, 5 years old, and the thing was constantly dead. I came in here last time and the thing was at 6 volts with my multimeter, so unfortunately it was time to go. That interstate lasted quite a bit of time, and I think I ended up getting, what, a Red 35 Optima? One of my goals this year, amongst many others, which I'll talk about in another video, is to stay a lot more organized when working on my car and other people's cars, because I don't like to use cowls as places to hold tools. Things get messy very fast, and I'm just trying to stay a lot more organized. I'm gonna remove my intercooler pipe in here that goes to the intake manifold, which, by the way, the piping looks fucking phenomenal. You guys know how I feel about it. If you guys need any custom intercooler piping done, hit up Danny at Metro Performance. And what I love about his piping, guys, is that if I need to pull the engine out, all I have to do is remove this. I don't have to deal with multiple couplers and different pipes. Like, it's just so straightforward. There's no tapering down. It's 2.75 inches in diameter all the way around. You guys still see me using painter's tape and a Sharpie over here for labeling, and that's because, you know, it doesn't matter how long I've been doing this. You know, I don't think I'm above staying organized, and, you know, I like to make things as easy as possible. And with green tape, I know exactly where it's gonna go. Might even be easier than I thought because I don't think I have to pull the intake manifold off because I'm not gonna mess with the intercooler pipe in here where the power steering pump is. I just have to remove, I forget which one of these bolts to get some slack on this belt that goes from the alternator to the power steering pump that goes to the crank pulley. Pull that out, we'll pull the alternator off, and then we're gonna move the AC compressor here into the spot where the battery goes. And I think we're gonna be ready to pull the timing cover off, which we're gonna need to modify. All right, we're gonna disconnect this harness to the alternator, and this whole wire can just chill somewhere here for now. See how there's already slack on this belt? This whole thing can just come out. So I'm just gonna drop it there. The belt can come off. Now for the AC compressor, I don't think we're gonna need to pull the manifold off. We're just gonna have to remove 3 bolts. I think they're 14 mils, one here, one there, and then there's one right in the back that sits right there. It is right next to the fuel line right there on the black, right down there with some pink on it. We're making some really good progress. Let's check it out. As you saw in the time lapse, our compressor is now sitting over there like I had previously mentioned, and we're gonna do the same thing we did to this guy. We'll move the power steering pump out of the way because we're gonna need to access the timing cover. So we're gonna remove the intake pipe and filter by removing this clamp off the compressor. That thing comes out. We'll do the same thing to this intercooler piping. 2 clamps, one here and one in between the runners. And then we will go ahead and remove the power steering pump. Alrighty, time to remove our power steering pump. So if you guys see down there, I have a ratchet, a 3-inch extension, and a 12mm that's currently on there. It's hard to show you guys where that bolt is, but that is where it currently is, and it's kind of right next to this guy down here. It is this one. That is another bolt. That is the second bolt we're gonna have to remove that holds the power steering pump onto the block. The last one is gonna be right kind of next to our oil pressure and our coolant temp sensor, and that is gonna be down here, which is currently in pink with my paint marker. I know you guys are probably thinking like, damn, this guy's got a mess in here in the background, and I do. I still have leftover parts I'm still trying to sell, like my exhaust, my catless downpipe. I think my intake's still around as well, somewhere in the corner. I'm just running out of room. definitely gonna have to move to a larger area at some point. And yeah, we'll see. You guys are gonna be like, oh, you're such a hypocrite, you're putting stuff on the cowl. I meant I'm not gonna store things there. I'm gonna leave them there for the moment, but I'm gonna always pull them off and put my tools back. Which so far we have done. Can't wait to talk to you guys about my goals for 2026, especially because I'm excited to hear you guys' feedback. We can disconnect this thing here, which is a little tab on the top, just a white little connection. And I'll just put these bolts kind of where they were at, just so I have an idea of where they're gonna live. I'm not wasting my own time later trying to figure out where things went. Alrighty, 22 mil 1/2 inch drive socket, and we're gonna need this because we're gonna be utilizing the 1/2 inch breaker bar to break free the crank bolt that holds the OEM crank pulley in place. Also, upon further revision, I don't think I'm gonna drain the coolant system, and that's because I have enough space here as it currently sits to remove the middle section of the timing cover, which we're gonna need to modify slightly, as well as hopefully install the new fluid damper onto the block. So for now, we will break this free and we'll get into the modification of the timing cover. I was trying to remove the crank bolt from the OEM crank pulley, and unfortunately, I realized I do not have the OEM crank pulley tool from Company 23. Luckily, Jordan from Loft Performance, the owner, is nice enough to let us borrow the tool, so I'm right outside his shop. We're gonna go pick it up, and potentially, he is thinking about hiring me part-time, which would be super, super sick to learn more about Subaru and everything else. But we'll see, and we'll talk about that later in a future video. There's a lot of different shops here, but you guys can tell where their shop is at because there's nothing but Subarus and Evos here, because the other guy that owns the shop, the other half, actually works on nothing but Evos. There he is. Dude, this guy has so much work going on. He's got this STI he's working on. This thing is pretty cool. This is a 6-speed STI swapped WRX with an IG 800 block. Brand new setup. Let's go take a look real quick. So we got the tool, which is all cool, but I didn't get to show you guys the car because he was on the phone and he just walked over to his drawer and handed it to me. But again, shout out to Jordan for helping us out. Could not do it without him. Here's the Company 23 tool for the OEM crank pulley. You guys see that there's 4 bolts that go through the tool and into the pulley. That's going to hold it while we take our breaker bar and finally break that thing free. I think it's also gonna make our lives easier if we remove this radiator fan here, just so we have more clearance when it comes to actually removing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera real quick. Alrighty, OEM crank pulley is out of here. So now we're gonna remove a couple bolts here in the center section of the timing cover, as well as the right-hand side, and try to manipulate the center section just to come off without removing all the bolts entirely, because we're gonna have to make some trims to the center section here. We're gonna remove this lip with some type of saw. You can use the hand saw, which is what I'm going to use, just because the fluid damper does not have a recessed area on the back where this actually sits in, like the OEM one. So we'll have to modify it just a bit, but it's not too hard. I'm just going to make the trim using this little hacksaw I got from Home Depot. You don't need anything crazy. This should work. It is really stubborn plastic, but it's going to go through. I know it is. Just got to be patient. It's ready to go back onto the car. You guys saw I made some marks here due to the fact that I was not cutting at a 45-degree angle. If you guys are going to do this modification with the fluid damper, I recommend you guys get something that you can cut with at a 45-degree, because you're going to run into this trouble right here. But it's not a big deal because the fluid damper covers this whole thing up. Now this thing is ready to go back into the car and put this thing back together. Timing cover is back on, but I want you guys to pay attention to this little tooth here on the crank sprocket. On the back of the fluid damper, which is right here, there is this mark, and that is where that tooth goes. You want to make sure that key or that tooth, whatever you want to call it, is in that hole, or else it's not going to seat properly. So we're going to go ahead and throw you guys back on the tripod, and we will now torque this thing down and make sure that thing is fully flush. All right, I think that's on. Sorry if I got in the way of the camera, but I just want to make sure that the tooth was in there and there is little play side to side and back and forth. So I think we're ready to torque this thing down with the Company 23 tool and put this crank bolt back in. We got the Company 23 tool onto the fluid damper, and it's very, very similar to the OEM crank pulley tool, which is very nice. So the concept's going to be the same. They give you 3 bolts, and those bolts are 13 millimeters, which is why I have a 13 mil wrench here, which is what I use to tighten down the bolts. I don't recommend you guys taking an impact to this because you can very likely strip these threads on the fluid damper itself, and you're gonna have a tough time actually installing this thing. So we're gonna turn the crank over to the right because obviously we're gonna tighten that crank pulley bolt down. But my idea is to have this thing come down, hit something here, and then take my torque wrench and then torque this thing down to 130 foot-pounds. And it's gonna be pretty sick because I think it's gonna be your guys' first time seeing me bust out my new digital torque wrenches. we got the new Fluidampr onto the long block, which is awesome. Now, I will say there's a lot of conflicting information online regarding the torque spec for the crank bolt there. I checked the FSM, I checked the forums, many other places, and what I decided was 130 foot-pounds, but I would just say refer to the FSM. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble everything off camera because I've already covered the assembly and removal of a lot of these components in a previous video when I did the ACT clutch install. So if you guys are interested in seeing how to put everything back, make sure to check that video out. But the only thing I will cover going forward is the reassembly of the stretch belt using the Company 23 tool, and then we'll get to the bonus install here in the engine bay. I hate to do this to you guys, but I already installed the belt. It was not that bad as I expected. So this is the stretch belt kit tool. You have a bolt, this plastic piece, and its bracket. Honestly, did not utilize the plastic piece, so I'm just gonna put that back in the box. You put this tab thing in here into this hole, and then you see how the hole and the threads line up? Well, once they line up, that is where this bolt goes. And then once you put that in and secure this down with a 13 mil wrench, you want to loop the belt onto the crank pulley here first. At least this is how I do it. And then you want to get some tension here, hold it, and then you're going to get your 22 mil socket, put it onto the crank bolt, keep turning it over while putting tension, either with a flathead, your hand, and you eventually get it on. It took me about 10 minutes. The last time I tried doing this without the tool, and admittedly my first time in general, it took me about 30 minutes, but it's not too bad. And now it's time for the bonus install. We're gonna be installing the overtake high lift hood struts on the STI. And now that the build is pretty much over with, for the most part for the time being, I want to display the build at Cars and Coffee, at events like that. So right now, as the OEM hood sits with the OEM struts, doesn't really lift that high. And I want to be able to show it off, so we're gonna be installing that onto the car. It's gonna be interesting to see how I do this without somebody else holding the other side down, especially because once this thing comes out, the hood's gonna wanna close. Alrighty, now we just have to replace the bottom, or get the bottom ones rather. Man, I really wish I had a broom or something. And since I'm not gonna reuse these, I'm just gonna do that. Oh, that thing shot out. Yeah, this is a really straightforward install. Takes probably less than 5 minutes. That works. I just pried this one out because I'm not gonna reuse these. All right, try to get in there with the flathead when you're gonna install these. Put it over just like that, and then just take the flathead out. And this thing goes into place. And in it goes. And then you have the overtake logo just like that. And guys, just with one strut, it already looks a lot better. I've been here since 5 a.m. and it is now 9 a.m. So I've been here for a while, trying to button everything up for you guys. Got a lot going on, but you know, the video's gotta keep happening. The grind's gotta keep going. Oh, hell yeah, it's easy. Last one. Like I was saying. But yeah, you know, I love doing this stuff at the end of the day. If it was me, you know, up to me, I would do nothing but this. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But genuinely, like, I love doing this stuff. And guys, first impression, love it. Love it, love it, love it. It was definitely worth the, what, $100-something? Pretty inexpensive. And if you go to car meets, go to car shows, stuff like that, definitely must have mod. Here is the final product, and yes, we are outside right now of the Home Depot parking lot because I had some errands to run. But guys, I love the new hood struts. They are very, very nice. The branding is super nice, again, with the color matching. But what I love the most is that the hood now fully opens all the way, almost to the service position. So when you go to car meets, go to car shows, everything is already presented, and it looks super, super sick. As far as the Fluidampr goes, my initial impressions are, it's highly worth it. I went on a test drive. My bud dyno tells me it feels a lot smoother across all RPM ranges. If you're considering getting one, it is expensive, but I think it's worth it. If you have a lightweight crank pulley, just take that shit, throw it in the trash. They're garbage. You don't want that on your Subaru, OEM or Fluidampr. I will be covering the differences in a future video, as well as a more seasoned review later on. Hope you learned something new. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.